Erik van Mechelen is the author of RAHZ to the RAHZ and Sound of Stone, and creator of the Known Caverns, a world whose denizens struggle to find meaning in a constantly shifting social, political, and geographical landscape, where groups of different species, each with a rich heritage and strong traditions, battle for control or form alliances to survive, and where the fates of the lonely flutter delicately in the balance. Come on up, Erik.
Thank you. I'm feeling immense gratitude that we have such a place like this to share stories with one another, so thank you for your attention and your imagination as well. I'll be reading from Sound of Stone, and my brother thought it would be useful to introduce you all to the antagonist, so I'll be jumping forward about 30 pages in this book, so hope you enjoy. All RAHZ really wanted was a cup of water in a clay cup. This obsidian mug was tiring, however well crafted by the artists. In haste he took a quick sip of his drink, but still it burned his tongue and throat. His hand shook as he reached for a leaf from the page tree and jotted a note, replacing the pen in its inkwell. His hand shook as he turned the page of the recorder's journal Tara had left behind. Yes, a cup of water would do nicely. It didn't have to be water from the springs of Mount Yonah. Those springs weren't far, but they seemed a world away. He couldn't get back to them. Though he'd heard of routes, like the one he'd shown Daggern, he couldn't just leave the Known Caverns, not with all that he had set in motion. He could, but no. He must undo certain things and put others right. Tara had given him a way out. That Rhiannon recorder thought by the inner circle to be dead 20 years prior. When RAHZ had apprenticed under Daggern in his first years in Rhiannon, he had studied the books, often on Daggern's urgings. There was a deeper meaning to them, Daggern kept saying, if only they could keep going at them from the appropriate angle. He all but locked RAHZ in the South Spire's dungeon for days on end, insisting RAHZ keep looking. Daggern's tyranny might have broken someone less strong or trained. RAHZ, after all, had spent time under his father Fabian's direction up on Mount Yonah, so he knew about discipline, about reading critically, how to search for traces between the lines and between the spaces between them a second layer down. RAHZ also knew Daggern secretly wanted to understand why Tara had set out for the source on her own. There were strange verses or poems in the margins of her recordings of the inner circle meetings. Lyrics she had scrawled when those meetings became too boring, when the inner circle delved into the minutiae of which birth mothers to promote, or which minors to sacrifice to the flame mistress. The poetry wasn't imagistic nor emotional, but it evoked those emanations in RAHZ. Kick fears into the abyss, bones falling triangle. Survival is to persist, despite life's tangle. RAHZ's study years ago under Daggern had led him here. He was now the recorder of Rhiannon, trusted inner circle member of the RAHZ, the power center of Rhiannon. He hadn't dreamed of the possibility when he'd come down from his mountain village, and his scouts had recently found ways back to it after a quake had blocked an earlier return. Now he could walk away, leave the subjugation of an entire city of humans in a vain search for the source. Leave his failures and guilt and regret, the mistake of bringing a child into the world and then trying to protect it from the inevitable suffering he was party to creating. Yes, he could go back to the mountain. It was a physical possibility, but his deepest self, or perhaps just his loudest, would not allow it. He knew not to ignore this voice, having done so many times before. He would be making a hell for his future selves. If he went back to Yonah now, well, that would be a fate worse than death. To know that he could have brought his child back, or at least had the chance to, but always wondering this until he jumped off a cliff like his mother, or was she pushed? Wondering forever and ever in the hell of his own creation what might have happened if he had only tried. The anticipatory regret of making the wrong decision stung him from many possible futures, but that one was unbearable. His hand fidgeted. He really just wanted a cup of water, if only to make his hand stop shaking. He looked at the verse again. Kick fears into the abyss. Bones falling triangle. Survival is to persist, despite life's tangle. He found himself on a page in the journal pulled down from the pyramid he'd made with the volumes under the dim amber glow of an earthlight in this chamber of stone high in the spire. He vaguely heard voices from rooms down the spire, up into other rooms, where other RAHZ discussed the business of Vienna. He set his eyes on the strange phrasing again. Those words had led him, though he wasn't sure how. He had gone to the abyss. Thank you.